What's up, guys? Got a good question to ask about steroids. And they were asking, do steroids really affect a fighter's performance that much? Does it help them win more? Does it make them better, bigger, stronger, faster, etc.? I don't know. Guys, I don't know. I never took steroids. I knew people who took it that admitted to me that they took it in between fights after injuries. Like I had a guy tell me one time that he had taken growth hormone and it helped heal his injury way faster. When I was in the UFC, for the most part, USADA was there. So people, I don't think the UFC was as dirty the USADA era as before the USADA era. I don't know. I don't know, honestly. But I think before the USADA era, I think there was a lot of people probably taking steroids, but by the time I got in, I had, I think, 2 or 3 fights in the UFC before USADA came along. And then once they came along, they would come test you whenever. I think I got tested like close to 30 times total by USADA. Obviously never failed the test. I've never did any of that shit. But there is, I think a lot of steroids, from what I've seen over the years, I think a lot of it could be psychological from just the stories I've heard, and how a lot of people really, obviously I'm not saying it doesn't affect your performance, but psychologically fighters depend on it too much. They start doing it and then they think they can't be the same without it. So that's probably why a lot of these guys that get caught and end up abusing it continue doing so, because psychologically they did it so long that they don't feel the same without it, right? But if you're not technical, it's not going to make you technical. It's not going to fix your technique problems. It might give you, I'm sure there's different types people take for conditioning. There's different types, I'm assuming, people take for strength. And it's, I'm sure outside of the UFC, outside of USADA, and now probably the UFC since they got rid of it, there's plenty of dirty people. But I don't think that it's been proven to give these people that big of an edge. It's not like every world champion takes steroids. It's not like every world champion has been caught taking steroids. For the most part, a lot of the people getting caught have never reached that pinnacle of being a world champion to begin with. So honestly, I don't know, guys. I don't know how much it does affect. What do you guys think? Leave some comments below. I heard a story one time. It was about Phil Baroni, actually. Who is obviously, very controversial and had some serious stuff happen to him. Some stuff he did, and obviously I'm not going to bring that up on my YouTube channel, but it's serious, right? But I heard stories about him that how he was always so juiced out of his mind in between fights that he would go in there with these guys at AKA, and he would be holding his own with Josh Koscheck, John Fitch, Mike Swick. I heard he would be holding his own with these guys, and then when he would cycle off of that stuff, he would be a mental midget. He just didn't feel the same because he wasn't on it. So I don't know. I don't know, guys. I'm assuming it does help your performance, obviously, in some areas, or the guys probably wouldn't be taking it. But I think a lot of guys take stuff like G8s, like growth hormone. I think they do that to help avoid injuries or like recover injuries as well. Once again, I've never taken that stuff, so I don't know. But so far, I don't feel like the people that have been caught doing steroids are the people that are all world champions. I mean, there has been world champions been caught, you know what I mean? But the majority of people that get caught and get in major trouble and was getting 2-year suspensions from USADA and stuff like that weren't champions. So I don't know, guys. Honestly, I'm assuming it affects your cardio. It affects your strength. I'm assuming it helps the fighters that do it in those areas. But I don't think it's going to take, like, if you're an average fighter and you're a journeyman at best, I don't think you're going to all of a sudden be able to be a world champion. There's attributes, there's techniques involved that require all of that outside of steroids. Now, if the champion that has all those attributes takes steroids, then, or the top level athlete that was a college wrestler or boxed for 10 years before he came to MMA or whatever, it probably does affect them somewhat. So I would say, I can't give you, I guess, a number, but I would say it definitely somewhat affects the higher up you get. Lower levels, if you're fighting I'll be honest with you, if you're fighting a local amateur MMA fight or even a local pro MMA fight against someone who's, let's say, new to fighting, they're freshly a pro, or they're starting off, they're 2-2, maybe they have a mediocre record or something on the pro scene, I doubt steroids is going to make them some superhero. So I definitely don't think the risk are worth the reward, because you have seen people, get messed up from it over the years. Their body's not the same. They have all these health issues as they get older. So I definitely don't advise doing it. It's just, I feel like a lot of the guys that get on it at a younger age become dependent on it, and that's not what you want in life, where you're dependent on a chemical every day to make sure that you can function and do your job if you're a fighter. So definitely would stray away from it, young guys and young fighters in general, guys and girls. The risk is not worth the reward. But that being said, if you're fighting a 2-2 pro guy on the local scene, I doubt steroids is making him a superhero, and you'll probably still whip his ass if you're a good prospect and have a good skill set. So yeah, guys, kids, stay off drugs. Don't do drugs. Don't do steroids. Don't cheat. Win the right way or don't win at all. But I do think it somewhat affects, but I can't give a number. I don't think it's going to be drastically turning someone into a superhero unless they had like crazy amounts levels of stuff in their system. So I don't know, guys. What do y'all think? Leave a comment below. Tell me any other subjects you'd like me to talk about. Also, if you're new to martial arts, looking for a book, looking for a somewhere to help you find a new gym, get my book, The Ultimate Guide to Choosing a Martial Arts School and Instructor. The link is in the description below. Thank you, guys.